India is an unusual country. I guess all countries are unusual. But I want to start by telling you something that happened most directly to me on September 23rd, at around 1 o'clock in the morning. I submitted my passport to Indian immigration and with a valid visa that had multiple entries. And I was told to wait at the right there. And within moments, other immigration officers came, and I heard those deadly words, would you please come with us? You know, as it is, airports are scareports. They are places of genuine fear, with good reason, because you are in some kind of legal no person's land. You know, you're in limbo. Anything can happen to you. I was placed in a room, told to sit and wait. I said, well, I need to go to the bathroom. Someone went with me to go to the bathroom. Presumably I would, you know, escape through the bathroom window or something and find myself in the New Delhi night. But anyway, they went with me. We came back. And I asked, you know, what was going on? And they said, well, it looks like you have to go back on the same Lufthansa flight you arrived on. And I said, why? We have an order here. And they waved the order in my face, and I could see the Lufthansa flight number, my name, and the word banned, which was very prominent. Well, I said, well, what's the reason behind this? I have a valid visa. And he said, well, sir, you know, it's a government of India order, and we have to carry out the order. We don't know ourselves. And I believe them because I was talking with them, and they were, you know, they weren't hostile in any way toward me. And I was placed back on the flight and, you know, returned to the U.S. A number of interviews I had scheduled, of course, didn't happen, including with a very prominent human rights activist, Dr. Binayak Sen. I had intended to go to Kashmir, which is in that top yellow spot of India, to follow up on work I had done in February of this year on a number of unmarked graves that have been discovered all over the state of Kashmir. So all of that was lost. Incidentally, it's also a financial loss. If you ever get deported from a country, you wind up paying for your own deportation because they took my ticket, grabbed my baggage off the carousel, and told the Lufthansa agent he's going back on the same flight he came in on. So it's not something I recommend, and it's a very Kafkaesque situation to be in, since you don't know what you're being accused of. And, you know, we're aware of what's going on. I'm a journalist. You know, I travel a lot, and I didn't know if I was going to be sent to Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan, where the U.S. has a torture chamber, or to Guantanamo, or to any of the other multiple black sites that the U.S. and CIA is operating around the world. So it's very unnerving. It's a very scary type of moment. And since I've returned, I've been trying to find out, to no avail, why I was banned from India. Many people have contacted the Indian government, no response whatsoever. When I mentioned this to Arundhati Roy, she says, this is how the government of India responds. They just wear people out by ignoring them and hope that they'll just go away. It might be something that's familiar to some of you here in the audience dealing with other governments around the world. So for me, it was a huge personal and professional loss, but it severs me from a country that I have these very deep ties with and very close friendships, and particularly in the state of Kashmir, which has been in a condition of rebellion since 1989. They already feel, many of my friends there, incredibly isolated and cut off, and I know that my being there was kind of like a lifeline. It injects some oxygen in an area where there isn't a lot of air to breathe because of the presence of 700,000 Indian security forces patrolling a relatively small area and a relatively small population of around 6 or 7 million people. I'll talk more about that in detail, but I also want to kind of fill you in a little bit about what's happening in the rest of India. India has gotten a remarkable free ride, as it were, in the Western press. It hasn't come under a lot of scrutiny or criticism, and part of that is because of the neighboring states, which are in enormous upheaval. Pakistan, Afghanistan, Bangladesh itself, Nepal has gone through a Maoist revolution. Sri Lanka had almost a near genocidal campaign to wipe out people of Tamil origin, that is to say, South Indian origin. So the South Asian area has been described as the most dangerous in the world. India has been very skillful also in presenting itself, in marketing itself to the West and to the United States. People practice yoga and they play sitar and they meditate, and there's these wonderful yoga seminars that you can go to in the Himalayas, and these all exist, where they have vegan, and it's the land of Gandhi and Buddha, and great art and traditions, et cetera, et cetera. So it has been very skillful in promoting that particular image. Not to say it is entirely false, but it is totally at the expense of what is actually going on the ground in many parts of the country. Huge swaths of India are in revolt and rebellion. This extends from the northeast in the country to Kashmir, to central India, to states such as Chhattisgarh, to Jharkhand, to Andhra Pradesh. There are about 625 districts in India, and fully, according to the government itself, there is some kind of militant activity in over 200 of these districts. So about 1/3 of India is, I don't want to use such a word as enjoying, but has some kind of opposition to the government. In central India, it is a Maoist revolt that has recruited, has as its base the tribal people who live in very resource-rich lands that corporados, as they call them in Indian English, want to seize, and have a pliant government in New Delhi that wants to enable that extraction of resource. We're talking about here some of the best iron ore, manganese, coal, forest products, timber, throughout, and bauxite particularly, throughout this area where there is a Maoist revolt. And if you want to get a sense of that, if you've seen the film Avatar, that sort of might give you a little bit of a flavor of what is actually playing out in central India today. Without the romantic aspects of that film, indigenous people, they're called Adivasi, which literally means the first residents, are sitting on very, very valuable land. And the government has been only too willing to push them off that land, creating internal refugee problems in the hundreds of thousands, providing a base for Maoist uprisings and recruiting of people who are forced out of their traditional living space. So that is one struggle. Now,